current task is to create a study page for each group of commonly confused words. Your study page must explain when and how to use each word. You must also include a sentence using each word correctly. So for example, immigrate and immigrate. They sound alike, but they're spelled differently. Emigrate with an E means to leave one country or area and settle in another. So now I've explained when and how to use the word. So now here's my sentence using it correctly. The lack of employment has caused a significant number of people to immigrate, with many highly skilled workers leaving the country. So I'm finished with my first word, and now I'm ready for the second word, immigrate with an I. That one means to come to a country of which one is not a native, usually for permanent residence. My sentence using the word correctly is, the first project we remember working on together was drawing scenes from the picture books that our mom brought with her when she immigrated from the USSR. So again, your job is to take each word and write down when or how to use it, and then use it correctly in a sentence. So now you are going to complete the following words. To, and to, there, and there, and it's. There are challenge words that you may also choose to do, but you do not have to do them. However, they are required for gifted and talented students. So once again, gifted and talented students must do all of the words. Everyone else will be doing just these words. You can choose to do these words if you would like to challenge yourself and broaden your vocabulary. So, to, and to. You now need to get your piece of notebook paper, and on your notebook paper, you're going to write it just like I have. You're creating a study page. You're going to write to, T-O, and then you're going to watch the video and listen and figure out when do you use to, T-O. On your notebook paper, you'll describe when or how to use T-O, and then you'll use it in a sentence you make up. Then do the same thing for T-O-O, to. When and how do you use that one? And write a sentence showing you know how to use it. Then, when and how do you use T-W-O? So to help you figure out how to use these, I have some videos. So get your paper ready, pause this recording, and when you're ready to listen to the video and create your study page for to, and to, turn your video back on. Alright, so welcome back. You've got your notebook paper and something to write with in front of you, and we're figuring out when to use to-double-O, and T-W-O. Listen to the video and pause when you need to write something on your paper.
Hi there. Are you aware that even the native speakers sometimes use to, and to wrong? That's because they all sound the same but mean something completely different. So what's the difference? To is easy. It's how you spell the number 2. For example, I have 2 apples. To has 2 meanings. One is also. For example, I like apples too. Usually, if you can replace to with also, I also like apples, you have used the word correctly. Another meaning of the word to is very or excessively, like this: I'm too tired now, as in, I'm very tired, or I ate too many apples and my tummy hurts. And to? Well, if it's not to or to, it must be to. To can mean in the direction of. We went to the orchard and there were billions of apples there. Or tell you who received something. I gave my apple to Sally. Or you can use it with a verb as the first part of an infinitive. I want to eat that apple. Or you can use it to indicate that something started at X and ended at Y. He sells apples from 9 to 5. That's it. That's how to use to, and to correctly. Hopefully you understand them better now. Thanks for watching.
Alright, so on your notebook paper, you're writing to, and to. Explain when to use each version, and write down an example of a sentence to show you know how to use each version. You can go back and watch that video as many times as you need in order to complete your study page. So pause the video until you finish to, and to. Then come back and listen to the video for there, and there. Alright, welcome back. Let's figure out how to use there, and there. You still need the same notebook paper in front of you with something to write with. And as you listen to the video, feel free to pause it and write down your ideas of when to use each word as well as your examples.
Hey, looks like we've got some new neighbors. Dear Tim and Moby, what is the difference between there, and there? From Janice. Well, no, it's 3 different words. Words that are spelled differently and have different meanings, but are pronounced exactly alike, are called homophones. Knowing when to use homophones like there, and there can be confusing because, let's face it, they all sound the same. But if you know what you're trying to say, and you know what the words mean, it's not so bad if you're careful. We'll start with there. There is a contraction of they are. They're moving. You can check its usage by asking yourself if it works as they are. They are moving. That works. There is a different story. It's a possessive pronoun that indicates ownership. They're moving their furniture. The furniture belongs to them. They possess it, so it makes sense that we use the possessive pronoun to indicate the ownership. Now there is an adverb defining a location or place. They're moving their furniture in there. I'm using the word there to mean the house across the street. That's a location. You can also say things like, there, I told you so. That's using the word there as an exclamation. We should go say hi to our new neighbors and bring them a fruitcake or something. Well, because they're moving into the new house over there. What? There.
Alright, so now go back to your study page and explain when and how to use each version of there, and there. Make sure you use a sentence as an example for each of them. You can go back and watch the video as many times as you need to. Then come back and we'll do the last pair, its and its. Alright, now that you're back, you're still using the same piece of paper. Let's figure out when and how to use its and its.
It. These 2 words sound the same and they have the same spelling. However, they have 2 different meanings. The difference between these words is that the second it has an apostrophe between the letter T and S. In this lesson, we will look at the difference between it and when to use each one. It. It is a possessive pronoun. We use it when referring to something that belongs to someone or something someone owns. Other possessive pronouns include your, his, her, my, our, their. When we use it, we're generally referring to a thing or a place. For example, the cat is eating its food. So the cat is eating the food that belongs to it. Another example is, the dog wrinkles its nose. London is famous for its tourist attractions. with an apostrophe. This is a contraction of it is or it has. For example, it's important to study before an exam. In this example, the sentence is, it is important to study before an exam. However, the words it is have been shortened to it. Another example is, it's a huge house. It's been snowing for 2 hours. In this example, the sentence is, it has been snowing for 2 hours. So the word it has been shortened to it. If you're ever confused about which it to use, then think about whether the sentence would make sense if you included it is or it has. If it makes sense, then include the it with the apostrophe. However, if the sentence doesn't make sense with it is or it has, then you know you have to use the possessive pronoun it.
All right, so now going back to the same study page. Oops, let me silence that. Okay, going back to the same study page. Now tell when or how to use each version of it and use a sentence for each one. So at this point, you may be done. If you are a gifted and talented student, you need to continue going on and making a study sheet for the following words. You can also, if you're not gifted and talented, choose to make a study page for each of these words. It will help increase your vocabulary. If you're choosing to use these words and figure out what they mean, you're going to now use dictionary.com. And when you go to dictionary.com, you'll open up a new page and type in dictionary.com, and where it says definitions, you'll type your first word. So in this case, it's accept, and hit enter. Sorry, my computer's a little slow. There we go. So here's accept. You can look down the definitions. You can scroll down to look at examples of the word. This actually will tell you the difference between accept and accept, so you can see what they have here as you investigate the differences. Then you go back to your study page and tell me the differences between these two words. When would you use each of them? And create a sentence to show that you know how to do it. All right, if you have any questions, first of all, ask somebody in your group. And if Miss Berry is not with a small group, you may ask her.